If you enjoy our show, spread the love wherever you listen by rating, reviewing, subscribing, sharing, all that good stuff to help us get ourselves out there. And with that said, let's start the show. I'm Ode. That's Vicky. I'm me. You're you. We are we.
Oh my God, that was so corny.
The You, Me, We
goodness.
podcast. And welcome back to another episode. Vicky, how are you doing on this beautiful Sunday afternoon?
Is it beautiful outside?
Yeah.
I have not been outside the whole day, right?
You should go outside more. No. It is really nice outside. So shout out to those of you who are enjoying this. We're recording this Labor Day weekend. Right?
Yes.
Not the usual Labor Day weekend vibe. Well, being from Brooklyn, not the usual Labor Day weekend vibe, but being in Jersey the past God knows how many Labor Days. I guess
is the usual.
This is the regular
Labor
Day weekend.
Not even Jersey, just Perth Amboy.
Perth Amboy.
Mm-hmm.
For you guys, your turn up weekend would be like sometime in like August when you have the
For Dominicans, yeah.
That's your turn up.
Mm-hmm.
I remember
like our summer turn up.
I remember I moved to Amboy that weekend and I came home from a gig and I was like, oh, let me go take some of my stuff over to the new apartment. It's about 3 or 4 in the morning. Nobody's going to be up. It's like a 4-year-old child running around the street.
Yeah. That weekend,
Somebody in their backyard has like the same DJ dance floor lights as me in their backyard.
Yeah.
Party. So you're good, Vicky?
Yeah, I'm good. How about you?
I am doing good. Chill, Spent some time last night. Shout out to all of our listeners, friends, and family. Spent some time last night going through some of our YouTube comments. And we're going to do a better job. We're going to try to do a better job of responding to our YouTube comments and interacting with all of you on YouTube. So shout out to you if you've been leaving comments on our YouTube. So, yeah, did that last night. It was fun.
Good.
Now, what are we talking about today, Vicky?
So today we're talking about toxic behavior in our friends and how we may have had toxic behavior ourselves.
Maybe.
I want to speak past tense. I know I have. I don't. Ode's in denial. And he thinks he doesn't have any toxic behaviors.
What I think, only because I guess that word is, I feel like the word's always been around, but am I wrong in saying it's become more of a buzzword the past couple years? Like you're in a toxic relationship. Oh, he's toxic for you. Or we're toxic together.
You know what word I hate?
What? O'Day?
Buzzword.
Oh. Buzzword is a buzzword?
That word.
Why?
It's so stupid.
No, I think it properly explains like those types of words.
Yeah, but you sound like a douchebag when you say them. If you say that's such a buzzword, you sound like an ass.
What would you say other than buzzword to properly identify what you're talking about or to explain buzzwords?
I would say, oh, that's a really hot topic right now or something.
And
people who say buzzwords, you just sound like a douchey marketing person. Like that's all marketing people.
And you know what? I feel like I have the same view on hot topic. And the reason why, with some of the podcasts I've worked with recently, when going over what they want to do, that word always comes up. Oh, do we want to talk? Like, do we want to do a segment on hot topics? I feel like hot topic is also a word I would be like, so I get so annoyed when I hear that hot topic.
Well, it's the same annoyance with buzzword.
Okay. So would you say toxic?
I think people are finally labeling things
properly.
Yeah, and maybe that's why the word is getting overused.
What is toxic? What is toxic behavior? Right? Yeah.
Like, what's toxic behavior from our friends that we...
No, not the behavior itself, but what makes a behavior toxic, in your opinion?
When it doesn't benefit you.
And them?
Well, you said what makes something toxic for me. I'm saying when it doesn't benefit me.
What I was saying was, what's your definition of a behavior being toxic? But I guess
that's what I just said. Something that does not benefit me.
Okay.
Like, and keeping it around my life takes away from my life. That's something that's toxic.
I'm trying to think a time that I've been toxic. So with that definition, what?
Go ahead.
What was that for? Well, are we not talking about the? Wow. You know what? You go first.
You were speaking.
Or were you gonna finish my sentence for me of times when I've been toxic?
No, you were speaking.
And you gave a look.
I did. I gave a look. I had a quick conversation with myself, and I wrapped it up. And now I'm back here.
Let's bring the conversation. Can you have this conversation with us? I'm interested. Before we continue, I'm interested in what this conversation was.
I think this is a conversation.
For the therapist?
Yes. We're not there yet.
Okay.
We're not there yet with y'all.
So I'm still trying to think of like some a specific like toxic behavior. Not saying I wasn't toxic at times with friendships or relationships, but I do remember just a behavior that I guess was a bad like characteristic of mine. And I remember one of my friends, the way he approached it. So I guess this is more towards like your friends pretty much addressing you when you're being toxic or when you're behaving in a way that they're like, yo, I need to tell him or her about
But
this.
how do you tell people they're being toxic? Because that's what we're talking about. Like, we're talking about how do you tell a friend that they're being toxic?
Okay, so with the same example.
And then we started talking about like, well, how would one of our friends have our friends told us that we're being toxic, or in which way would we have appreciated or even listened or taken in what they were telling us about our toxic behavior?
So using that same example I was about to mention, I was on a train with my friend Dwayne, and I was just talking a lot. All right, I was just rambling on about something, but I was rambling on. And his approach to me in that situation, not saying it was a toxic situation, but just his approach to me as a friend, he literally turned to me and was like, yo, shut the fuck up. I was like, wait, what? I'm thinking I said something wrong. He's like, nah, you're just talking a lot. He's like, yo, just shut up. Like, stop talking. Which makes me think, like, I guess depending on who you are or who that person is, going back to what you said last episode, or I think it was 2 episodes ago, I think depending on the person, the friendship, you might appreciate them approaching it that way. That whole, like, honest, rip the Band-Aid off, bold, profanity-laced way of just really checking you and telling you to, like, chill and check yourself, depending on who that person is.
I think I'm the opposite.
Or what you respond to better, I guess.
I think I'm the opposite. I think that if I don't care about maintaining a relationship with you, or creating one or anything like that, I'm gonna be like hardcore profanity laced, super duper true about whatever I'm gonna tell you. Like, I'm gonna deliver it in a way that I don't care if I make you cry or if I, like, you know, hurt your feelings and I made you feel bad about yourself. If you don't care about me. If I don't care about you, I'm gonna deliver it as not purposely hurtful, but I just know that the basic way that I thought it is the exact same way I'm gonna deliver it. Like the reason why I say that is because I remember in high school, this girl, I'll never forget it. It was in biology class, and I'm standing at the front of the class. The class was leaving, and she stood there and she started talking to me, and I just turned around and I'm like, can you shut the fuck up? Like, I don't care what you have to say. Like, get the fuck out of my face.
And why you did your face
like
that?
Stop talking to me. I literally was like, can you just stop talking to me? Like, you see me, don't talk to me. I don't care about anything you have to say to me. I don't care. And I literally was like, get the fuck out of my way. Like, keep it pushing. And of course, ever since then, she hated me. And again, I never cared. And to this day, I still don't care that I spoke to her that way because I did not care about her. But I feel like if you are someone that I care about, I want to deliver it as gently as possible because I know that I can be really harsh with my choice of words.
You? Really?
Not me.
Come
I know.
on.
It's so hard to believe. But because I know that I'm already seen, and so, like, I start taking all things into account. Like, because I know I'm seen a certain way, and I want to make sure that I'm delivering this in the best light. I overthink of how to say things. And I think what happens to me is that I just kind of am like, I'll just have you back, yeah. Like, whichever way you go about this toxic ass behavior, I'm going to just sit back and let you ride it out.
But isn't that you encouraging it?
It's not me encouraging it because I'm not like, yes, do that. You should do that. Even
Jump
though,
off that bridge, girl.
Yeah, like, no.
Go after that man that don't want you.
Like, no, you should stay with a guy that got another girl pregnant while you guys were together. Like, no, you should stay with him. Yeah, you, like me, I would never say that. I would just be like, well, you do what you think is best. And then I just fall back. And then when I feel like they're coming into that realization of something that I wanted to say, that's when I start going like, girl, yes. Oh my God, I'm so happy you got here because, this is another level. You just needed to see this on your own. But in my head, I'm like, finally.
And then when that does happen, they're like, why didn't y'all tell me?
It's because, it's hard to deliver that kind of message.
Or like, cuz it ain't none of my business. Or you needed to learn for yourself. Or
I do think that some lessons, no matter how many times people tell you, you have to go through them yourself. Mm-hmm. Because there's just certain, like, it's hard to say. Like, I was speaking with a friend yesterday, and she was saying how people would always tell her, like, yo, make sure that no guy does this. And if a guy starts acting like this, it's because of this and whatever. Mm. And she's like, I've heard other people's advice, but the truth is that these are kind of one of those things that I need to know how it feels to have a pit in my stomach telling me, a knot in my stomach telling me like, yo, something ain't right. And to know that next time I have that feeling about someone, I know that I'm not being crazy. Because like, she's like, there's just certain behaviors, like your energy, people can read your energy. Mm-hmm. And so like if you know something's not right, no one can explain to you how that feeling of something not being right is. It's just a feeling that you over time learn. That if you have this feeling, it's because you know something's not right. Those are things that people can't tell you. You have to learn those things.
Why are we so stubborn? Because that is... Am I wrong in saying that's a stubborn behavior?
I don't think it's a stubborn... That's what I'm saying. I think that's one of those lessons you have to learn on your own. I can't tell you... There's no way that I can tell Kalal. Like, people can tell... I can tell Kalal a million times, like, you'll just feel something. You'll just You'll feel it in your stomach that something's not right. But what if he doesn't feel it in his stomach? Like, what if that's not the way that he would translate that feeling? Oh, my goodness. I just thought of the most perfect example.
Girl, go ahead.
When I would ask, so how do contractions feel? And the lady was like, oh, like your muscles tense up, they tense up really, whatever. And then it kind of like your body relaxes. And then they just tense. And then your body relaxes.
That sounds easy.
And then when I was having contractions, and Ode's like, yo, are you having contractions? I'm like, no, because the lady told me that my body will tense and then it will relax. That's what she was telling me. But if she would have told me that it just feels like a super intense cramps, then I would have known, oh damn, I think I'm having contractions. I think I'm in labor. But because she explained it the way that hopefully that lady had a kid. To this day, if she had kids, then she had the best contractions. But if she would have described it a little better, I possibly may have known what it felt like. But until you don't experience it, you're not going to know what contractions feel like. So that it's one of those things. Like, you just have to know how a feeling is. And I just feel like you can give your friend going down a toxic ass path all the advice in the world, and some things you're just going to have to be like, write it out, sis. You need to learn how it feels to know that feeling. But here's where I contradict that argument.
Go ahead.
You got to let your friends write it out so they know what that feeling is.
Okay.
But like after the third, the fourth, the fifth relationship, like, girl, you get this feeling every time in the relationship. Let it go. The lesson has been learned. You need to apply it.
So there does come a time when you have, okay.
Yeah, you just need to learn the lesson. That's it. Okay, I know that when I feel this, things are not right. Not like, okay, even though I felt this with every guy, it was just something different. Like, you find more excuses to kind of like justify the feeling. Yeah. You're like, no, the feeling's the feelings.
I would say
it is what it is.
Don't be mad at your friends that gave you the warnings, gave you the honest advice about when you're either being toxic or you are accepting toxic behavior in a toxic relationship. Don't be mad at those friends that when you do finally get the feeling and realize it, they're like, yo, I don't want to hear it. Like, I feel like that happens too, where the friend could be like,
you know what? I feel like I would allow them to vent up to a certain time.
So like maybe 5 minutes?
Because I feel like that's the natural process of a relationship. Like, all right, I'm going to let you, depending on how long you guys were together, I'm going to let you mourn them and talk about them, whatever. But there does definitely come a time when it's like, yo, just shut the fuck up. Like, nobody cares.
What approach would you want from me? Like, how would you want me to tell you, yo, you're being toxic? In the past, how would you have preferred I address you being toxic? Like, you are straight up snorting cocaine every night. How do you want me to tell you? I figure we go to the extreme.
Jesus Christ.
Well, the snorting cocaine equivalent of some kind of toxic behavior. How would you want me as your partner, or put me in any role? Me
that
as your
brother. That was a little hard because that's drugs and.
Okay.
I don't know what's a toxic. Oh, hanging around a friend that's like just a trash person.
Yeah. How should your partner? Okay, not just you.
That is a good one because I have been the person that was warned about.
Oh yeah, you mentioned that before. How should you approach your partner when they are, when they have a toxic friend? When they're entertaining a toxic friendship.
I think that your partner deserves the hard truth.
But this is I think that where that becomes the issue is that usually that friend is probably like the childhood friend. That friend is the best friend. That friend is the sister. That friend is the brother. I think that's when it becomes complicated because here you are telling them, yo, this person isn't good for you or for your life. But you're telling me somebody I call a brother, somebody who in my opinion has been there for me through the good times and the bad times. Somebody who I wouldn't be with you if they hadn't given the cosign, but you're telling me that person's bad for me, I
think that just having a straight up conversation, like I think, and not centering it on how the friend needs to change because the friend is the friend and that's who they are and they're not really in the relationship. But I think that you need to come with strong arguments as to why you find them toxic and how that is affecting them, which in turn is affecting the relationship. And how your concerns,
well played,
because you don't want to seem like you're attacking them. You want to come at it. If the therapist heard the podcast, he'd be very proud right now. I was gonna say you want to come fighting for the solution.
You want to be mindful. I'm just throwing the words.
You want to be solution based.
You know what we're doing right now? We're throwing out buzzwords. We're throwing out buzzwords that our therapist has thrown at us.
I think that if you come with the
solution based.
Yeah, but with the approach of it's affecting the relationship as opposed to attacking them for having that friend or attacking the friend, which will then have them just go into defense mode.
So definitely avoid the whole like, yo, hanging out with her, look at how you be acting.
Yeah.
That's asking for somebody to get.
No one says, oh my God, you're so right. When someone says that, everybody's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Fight me.
Yeah. That's fighting energy right there.
I definitely remember, and then this goes back to like the type of relationship you have with somebody and how they can talk to you. I have these two friends who they're like brothers. They were tight. And one was friends with the other's girlfriend. And
first?
Well, they were all just friends.
Okay.
And one...
They were all friends.
Yeah.
Two started dating.
Yeah. Two started dating, and one is just a friend of both, but he's also a good friend of the girl. So he holds her dear, close to him, like a sister kind of thing. And the one who was dating her wasn't the best boyfriend. And I think he straight up like, as a friend was like, yo, treat her right. Like, one, I'm not going to snitch on you, but stop with this BS behavior. Like, stop being toxic to her and to yourself. Treat her right. And to the point where it was on something like, if you don't, like, we're gonna have problems. And eventually, they did have problems because he straight up like fought the guy. Like,
That's
yo,
a good friend.
I'm gonna punch you in your face if you don't treat her right.
That's a good friend. What about that?
No. I'm wondering. I guess because of the friendship.
Well, it sounded from the start. It sounded like the friend he held most dear was the girl.
And you know what? And it wasn't. It was just like a.
If one is the friend and the other one is like a sister, it's obvious that the girl is.
No. Well, okay. Let me be more clear. I feel like his approach to him was on some like, because I hold you so close to me like a brother. I would literally fight you and beat you up until you act right.
I don't like those, being caught in those.
Caught in what?
Like where two of your closest friends start dating.
Are dating? Yeah.
You're like, oh my God.
But I feel like honestly, even if she wasn't a close friend, there's those situations where like, yo, like, just because I want you to be a stand-up guy, I'm gonna like beat the toxic out of you. Or like verbally or whatever. Like don't do your family wrong. Don't do. And I know situations like that where guys have been like, will get on their boy who is just not.
What kind of circle of friends do you got?
No, we all know some people who are just.
No, I mean, like, who are these stand-up citizens that are like, you must live right and live true?
There's some good people out there.
Okay. Contrary
to some people's belief, there are some good men, good women out there who are literally no baggage, no trauma,
that is
drama.
Yo, you see the lines? Everyone got baggage.
Okay.
It's just the level of baggage.
No, I don't think so. It's not even nice.
Yes, it is.
No, let me explain. I kind of agree with you. Everyone has baggage. Some of us, no matter what the level, some of us are just better at addressing our baggage. Some of us are better at carrying it as we carry as we carry them into new relationships, into new situations, while some of us don't know how to do that. And we will literally take our baggage and say, can you hold this for me?
True.
While some of us, everyone has baggage, but some of us just know how to carry it better. Some of us knew that to put our baggage.
Take their bags and stuff it in the closet.
While some of us walk through the airport dragging it, while some of us have the wheels that are 360 wheels, so we are able to smoothly walk through the airport and turn our luggage. You like that analogy? That was cool, right?
Anyway,
where were we?
You went off on a tangent about baggage.
I was trying to find a good analogy. I was trying to get to it.
How would you like me to let you know when you're being toxic?
How would I like to be told, or told by you specifically?
By me.
I don't want you to tell me nothing.
Why?
No.
Actually, I think that's a little true, though.
Yeah, it is. I
knew it.
I think in a relationship situation, I would want that. Okay, I'll answer your question directly. With you and I think I am more responsive to the example you gave. The way that it doesn't come off like you're attacking, I would rather. But I do want some of that blunt honesty in there. Mm-hmm. I do want to be put in a situation where I can't debate what you're saying, where I can't debate that. Yo, damn, she's right. Like, I do kind of want that, but I want to be eased into it.
Okay.
Don't attack me. Don't put me on the defensive. I'm not saying you do that. I am. I'm not saying you.
I think that even if I did that, you would automatically be in the defensive.
Which is why I said ease into it. I feel like I am the kind of person that when it comes to you and I do need to kind of be bamboozled in, or like put in the corner, but yet still put in the corner with a pillow behind me. Like, oh, I'm gonna back you into the corner, but ease you into it. Does that make sense?
Sure.
You know, because I know that, but I agree with you. I know I do get defensive, even when you're talking to me calmly, even when you're trying to explain. But there have been times here and there where you've just done it just right. You spoke to me just right, and you would catch me like getting defensive, and then you would kind of reword what you're saying, or you would kind of stop me right there and be like, "Oh, before you get defensive, here's what I'm trying to say." So I know with you, I do need to be coddled a little bit when you're telling me about myself, and that's because I care about you and your opinion. Just say yes for the cameras.
Sure.
And for the therapy session, we'll just be honest.
I'm like, let me jot down what I really want to say.
Anyways. Have you ever
been a toxic friend? Hell fucking yes.
No. We all have examples. What have you? No. I think the answer is yes. I was gonna say, have you ever been in a situation where it's like have you felt guilty of not telling somebody like,
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's like you want to tell him or her like, yo, they need to
Yeah.
hear this, but you're like, you know what? It's not my place, or they're gonna be offensive,
Or sometimes I'm just like, I don't want to deal with the aftermath of telling you about yourself.
And have you like felt guilty about it?
No.
Like, is there any guilt when they finally?
I feel
implode?
guilty about the fact that I placed myself over them.
Okay.
I weighed my options, like, yo, keep it 100% with you right now in a time where you need it because you're not seeing things, or sit back and mind my damn business and continue on with my life on the sidelines of the shit show. I have absolutely done that. And I always feel guilty about doing that.
About not, as well as like feeling guilty when they finally implode.
Yeah, because I feel like maybe if I told them, I don't think that it would stop this moving train, but I think it would have slowed it down a little bit. Maybe it would have stretched out. But then sometimes I'm like, who gives a fuck? Like, it imploded. We're here. The point was to get you here. So whether you had to do it on your own or I got you here or whatever. But to me, from life experiences of myself, I have seen certain stories play out exactly the same amongst, a variety of my friends, including myself. And I think that I'm at that age where I'm like, I already know how this story ends, so I'm gonna just sit on the side and go on the what's that called?
On the sideline?
No, on that roller coaster. I'll just sit on the roller coaster with you.
Yeah.
And then I'll just wait till everything blows up, because it will.
Have you or anyone?
And that way I don't have to insert myself ever in this drama.
Have you or anyone listening, have you ever lost a friend because they honestly pushed you away? Because when the situation finally did implode, they literally blamed you for not looking out for them, for not telling them earlier what you noticed and what you saw. I feel like that happened where a friend is like,
I feel like that probably has happened to me, and I've probably done that to other people.
You pushed them away because you felt like, you should have been there to tell me not to.
I can't say for certain, but I'm gonna just put myself out there and say probably.
Yeah. I'm sure I've probably done it.
I've only been mature for like the last 6 months, so I'm pretty sure I've done that. Like, those are one of those, like, I don't even know, but I'm gonna just chalk it up to the answer is yes.
I feel like that's somewhere
there. I don't want someone to listen to be like, bitch, you did that to me.
I feel like that's
over here, like, I've never done that.
I feel like that's a good self-reflection for everyone to do. At what age or what period of my life can I honestly say, okay, that is when I matured? Because we all.
You know what's my problem though? Like, I'm matured.
You are mature, or you say you matured?
I'm mature.
Okay.
But there's still parts of me that I'm like I can easily just tap back into that.
But I think the maturity aspect is you at least acknowledging that's mature. What I was going to get at was that I'm sure all of us at like 21, we felt, I am mature. And now we're like, what the hell was I thinking?
I knew I was.
And then when we were 25, we were like, now I am mature. I know for a fact the stuff I know for a fact the I guess where I was headed at that time. And I felt I was mature enough to embrace what I was going through at that time. I was like, no, I was not. I honestly feel like I was mature when I hit my 30s. That's when I was mature.
Okay, good. So I don't feel late to the party.
But I felt like my 20s, I was still stereotypical 20s. But I swore.
You like were not though.
Again, this goes back to what we said.
Well, you were one of the stereotypes of the 20s, of 20-year-olds. Because I feel like there's different types of 20-year-olds.
Explain.
You have like the wild child 20-year-olds.
Okay. So wild child.
You have the ones that literally study and work their entire 20s, and then they start wilding out in their 30s. That's like the people who have kids when they're teenagers, and then by the time they're like 35,
so wild
they're
child
like the
20s.
party begins because bitch, I'm done having kids. I'm out. And meanwhile, all their friends are like, I just had my second kid, or I just had my first kid.
So there's the 9 to 5 20s. There's the wild child 20s.
No, not 9 to 5, but like
No,
they study all the time. The
I'm just calling
school,
them that.
they literally school, and right after school they just work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm trying to give them like a name. So there's the 9 to 5ers. There's the wild child 20s. Is there one more category of 20-year-olds?
Then there's the I had a college experience. Now it's time to settle down 20s. That's you.
Okay.
That's those people. Yeah. That's y'all.
I feel like there's some you're saying that in like a negative way.
I'm saying it in a laughable way, yeah.
Oh, that helps.
You know why?
Laughable. I'd rather you say
Because in your
negative.
30s, you realize like, yo, what the fuck was I thinking trying to get married at 24, 25, 26? This is why. Because when you're like 12,
Mm-hmm.
like at least for girls, like, oh, so how do you want, like, what do you imagine in your future? You're like, so I'm done with college by like this age. I should be buying my first house when I'm like 23, 24. I should be getting married and having kids, and I should be done with kids by the time I'm like 28. When you're a teenager, it just seems like, oh, I got, like by my 20s, I'm wrapping this shit up. I'm done. I'm setting it down, and it's whatever. But then when you're in your 20s, you're like, oh, what the fuck is going on? And then I feel like the people who have their fun but then go to settle, those are the people they're still trying to like make their like early teenage timeline still happen.
Mm-hmm.
And then they get to their 30s and they're like, yo, what the fuck was I thinking? Like, I was not, like, I didn't have it all together. Even the people that did get married in their 20s, I feel like for some reason I just feel like 30s just kind of like brings on like a new set of eyes.
Yeah.
And you're like, how? And even the people that are your version of the 20s that did end up getting married and, they're still married or whatever, I'm pretty sure somewhere in their 30s, they're like...
The midlife crisis?
No, not midlife crisis. I feel like they're like, how the hell did I do that? I was so young. What was I thinking? Like, if they're still married, of course, it's like, that's awesome. You're still in a decision you made from your 20s. But I feel like the most part of people is like, girl, I still live at home. Like, ain't nobody trying to get married, So I feel like you were in those. You were in that crew. Like, you hit your mid-20s and you're like, all right, time to settle down. Time to wrap it up.
Then years later, I'm like, what was I thinking? Long story short.
That was exactly the point I was making.
Long story short, don't let your toxic friends be toxic.
You know why?
Why?
Because then you internalize their toxicity.
Exactly.
It's true.
You are your brother and sister's keeper to an extent. Let them.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was the word? Give them enough. Sometimes give them enough rope to, do
what they want to do.
Yeah. But hold on to it and reel them back in when it's time for you to be like, "Are you good now?
Yeah.
You good? Did you learn? Did you get the feeling?"
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's answer some questions, Vicky.
Okay.
So again, we always encourage people to partake in this little exercise. There's so many games out there, so many versions of this activity where you just kind of ask your partner, your friends, your family members certain questions that will show you how much you actually do or don't know about them. And we do this every episode. So, Vicky, let us both pick a card.
Oh my goodness. What is going on? Is this just a whole pile of this?
You want to just go with what card's on top? We'll randomize.
Yeah. Well, actually, technically, they're already random.
Yeah. So let's go with the top 2 cards. And to the point where we won't put back, since it's we won't put back.
Yeah.
I'll go first, Vicky.
Wow.
Vicky. Ooh. I guess this applies to you, I guess. This applies to you when I ask this question. It'll make sense when I ask it. What do you think I see in you that others don't?
My passion?
Just going to go back to therapy session and pick one thing that I said. Okay, cool. I see what you did there. All right. What question you got? No, you good. You good.
What's one experience you wish we shared but didn't? And why? Here, so you don't ask me to repeat it because you always do.
What's one experience that I wish we shared but we didn't? Why? I have my easy answer. No. I was going to joke and say, getting married.
Oh my God, I knew you were going to say that.
I mean, I do wish we shared it. Why? Because we would have been married. And it would have been interesting. It would have been interesting.
But we did agree that the best thing was that we did not get married.
I think, that might be it.
Pick something that's not as obvious.
One experience that I wish we did share but didn't, and I know it's easier for me to say as a man who would never be in your role or in the role of a woman when it comes to giving birth, I do kind of wish we had that natural birth experience.
Yeah.
The pushing and
why?
And seeing color, because it's what you grew up seeing. It's what you grew up hearing about. The whole
seeing your baby come out.
Not even that, but being there next to the mother while she's breathing and doing the whole okay, breathe, honey, breathe. Okay, keep pushing. While for me and you, it's like, hey, so how you feel? You good? And you're there all drugged up, like, yeah, and then all of a sudden it was, wah, and we're like, oh, you done? So I do kind of wish we had that experience.
I think that's a good answer.
Yeah.
That is a better
answer. I know,
answer.
it is a good answer because it was my answer.
I can't stand you.
I'm just speaking facts. Before we go, as always, let's highlight some positives at a time when things might be not so positive. For some, we figured we would always end every episode highlighting some of the positive things or people that we've either noticed or just want to shout out.
Or just positives about ourselves.
Positives about ourselves, which leads me to my positive, if you don't mind me starting first.
Well, I mean, you already did. It's too late to ask.
You're right. The positive shout out I want to give is actually you, Vicky.
Me?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Because...
Hold on. Let me pay attention.
So I want to shout you out as my positive for the week, because with school starting up and a lot of parents at home trying to figure out what it's going to look like, of course, for those of you who've been listening, we decided to keep our son home. Vicky has dived into this whole what's the word? I don't even know what to call it.
Homeschooling.
This whole homeschooling adventure to make sure that Khalil does not skip a beat or miss anything. We loved the daycare that he was attending. Yeah. Unfortunately, we decided to keep him home. And starting next week, right on time when he would have started back in school, Khalil, thanks to Vicky, has a whole program set up. Has his day scheduled where he's going to be learning things that he would have been learning in school.
Well, not starting next week, because when we air this, he would have already started.
Yeah. So thanks to Vicky, Khalil has this whole homeschooling curriculum ready to go, including snacks, including playtime, including, to be honest, things he probably wouldn't be learning. Yeah, because I don't know if I'm wrong. You are kind of he is kind of in AP daycare now.
Yeah.
So to be honest,
I'm doing a kindergarten curriculum.
Yeah. So to be honest, when everything works out and we get back to normal, Khalil's going to be ahead thanks to all the hard work that you have put in.
Oh, thank you.
I will be teaching music class and...
Well, you didn't pencil that into the schedule.
I'll be teaching media arts. I'll do media arts and outdoor gym. That would be me. So, yeah, you are the positive that I want to highlight this week.
Oh, thank you.
And all of the hard work you have put into ensuring that Khalil is not missing a beat when it comes to homeschooling. Homeschooling is brand new to both of us.
Yeah.
And to see you put together a full program where he's just learning everything he will be learning, it's amazing. And I want to applaud you for that. I think it's commendable. And that goes back to what you said. One of the things I've always seen in you that you have been consistent with is passion.
Oh, thanks. Wow, look at you bringing full circle. You all smooth.
I do this radio thing. No, I'm joking. Go ahead.
So my highlight is actually no.
Oh, I thought we were doing a thing. Okay.
No. You didn't discuss that off air.
All right, I'm going to edit that, take it out, switch it with a new one. Go ahead.
My highlight is I'm doing kind of like an accountability check-in with these two girls.
Okay.
Jill, which I always talk about her, and Cesarina.
Oh.
Oh, yeah. So I do accountability check-in, and they kind of like, we share our goals with each other, and we check in every day about the day before. Mm-hmm. And we just give each other encouragement. Like, yo, come on, you've fallen off of this. Like, give me this at least today. And I did it a long time ago, that whole check-in thing.
Yeah.
But for some reason, I feel like September always means like, okay, we're starting fresh, we're starting new.
Yeah.
It's like all right, get in the zone to wrap up the year, which we are all very anxious to do. So
screw 2020.
Yeah. So we are so excited, and I am so excited about this kind of accountability crew, and that's my highlight. I think everyone should have their little accountability crew with their goals.
Mm-hmm. Yes, so, I have one.
I know I should be yours, but whatever. It's a conversation for another day.
Is that a whole topic? Is that a whole conversation?
That's a conversation.
Should your partner be in?
Yes.
Should your partner be your well?
Yes.
I feel like that's the obvious. They should be your main accountability coach or accountability.
Yes, they're doing life with you.
Yeah. They should be your main one, but
that's a topic for another day.
Okay. I was going to say you definitely need an external one to make sure they're holding you accountable for your relationship and how you're being and not being toxic. Look at us going full circle. High five.
Who's the external one?
For me, my accountability group that I'm in, like, we don't just talk about like our goals and passions. We talk about like how we are as family.
We are like totally recording another episode.
No. But
at this point,
you get what I'm saying though?
Let's save it for the podcast.
So your account. Wait, hold on. See, you know what?
Let's save it for the podcast.
No, this is a good example. Those memes y'all see when y'all be like, girls on girls night out, and if y'all in a party and men on guys night, and we're all together praying. That's facts. Because here I am in my accountability ring, holding each other accountable for who we are as men, as fathers, as brothers, as husbands, and y'all aren't even addressing that in your accountability ring. How you are as a wife, a mother.
I'm not a wife.
And thank you all for tuning in to this episode of the You, Me, you petty as hell.
I'm not even a fiance or whatever.
We. You know what your ring is?
No, I don't. I already told you this.
Can I end the show? Can I end?
I was ready to end the show a long time ago.
Thank you all for tuning in to this episode of the You, Me, We podcast.